What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dad Cave. As you can see on the screen, this is going to be episode 201 or season 2, episode 1. I'm very proud of the episodes that we did earlier on. Those three guests were very special individuals, and I do appreciate them taking time out of their day to come and share experiences and conversations with us. But I want to move in a different direction. As a small content creator who struggles with consistency, so to speak, it is difficult to come up with topics and guests to, make appearances or recurring guests or whatnot on the show just to have a good conversation. Now, I am still a fan of podcasting. I am still a fan of long form audio media. And if you guys are looking to consume something a little more nerdy, a little more pop culture and you enjoy Final Fantasy as a franchise, you can check out the Materia Junction podcast that I co host with the Batman Drew. We just started a couple months ago, and we're really excited about the turnout that we've had and the forward movement of this project. So if you're looking for more of that specific content in regard to Final Fantasy, you could definitely check us out on YouTube, TikTok, pretty much wherever you get your social media fixes. Again, that's the Materia Junction. I have it linked in my description or my bio on TikTok as well. So feel free to check that out. Drop by in the comments or whatnot. We really do appreciate it. But moving on from that, I'm still going to be doing individual stuff here on my channel, but I'm going to be using the Dad Cave podcast, a little bit more of a shorter discussion just to get some ideas out there of what I've been doing, what I've been planning, and basically the direction the channel is going to be moving forward from here on out. So the structure that I'm laying out for myself that I want to really remain consistent to is a monthly catch up episode like we're doing right now, premiering on a Wednesday. Probably, I want to say like the last Wednesday of every month or the third or fourth Wednesday of every month, let's say for now, um, until we get everything ironed out and kind of get into a flow of everything like that. And basically, what I want to do is I kind of want to use this time to just kind of give you guys an idea of what you can expect and what we're working on here. So right now, I haven't really posted anything major in a long time. It's just been really difficult to find the time and the balance to um, get stuff down or get stuff recorded or edited or whatnot, especially being a one man team or one person team. I'm sure if anybody listening to this is a content creator themselves, you have experienced this lull or this kind of valley in the peak, so to speak. I do enjoy making content, I really do, but it's very like um, I have my days and I have my moments where I'm just like all about it, and then I have times where I'm just like, it's not a main priority for me. I'm not doing this for monetization purposes. I'm not doing this to become famous or anything like that. I just like having conversations and making content and posting things and editing. So it's more of just like a hobby for me. It's more of like a de-stressor for me. So I don't really take it as seriously. Not no disrespect to content creators who do it full time and who are very passionate. Like there's very talented people out there who post incredible content and make fantastic edits and you know uploads and graphics and all that other stuff. But I'm more of a bare bones, just kind of get your ideas out there, and if it clicks, it sticks. And I'm not really worried about monetization or partnerships or anything like that. I use it as an outlet. It's very therapeutic for me. It kind of helps me to avoid my isolation, so to speak, as far as like my living situation and um, not really having access to um, my friends, so to speak. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania. All of my friends live in New Jersey. So my outlet or my entertainment is really connecting with those online that I've met, like the Batman Drew, and just like consuming content and also coming up with ideas to create my own content. So this is just kind of like my uh I guess separation from like the real world, or my detachment from the real world. So that's what I'm going to aim to use this as. Now, enough about that. What we're planning on doing here for the Dad Man YouTube channel is we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have a monthly Dad Cave episode, just kind of catching up on a couple things that I've been into or things that I've been planning on doing. And then we're going to give you like a roadmap. So basically, what you can expect moving forward is, like I said, we're going to have a monthly Wednesday podcast episode, just kind of detailing and catching up on things. And then what I want to do I want to do definitely 2 videos a week, um, different things, but same topic, but different things. I'm a really big Magic the Gathering player, and I play 2 different ways. I play online with like paper cards and like my friends on a digital platform, like a webcam service called Convoke. And I also play on Magic Arena, which is the digital client for Magic the Gathering. So my plan is to do Monday Night Brawl, which is going to be a weekly upload of just me playing on Magic Arena, trying out different decks, new cards. They just released the Marvel set for Magic the Gathering, so I'm really excited to like get into it more on Arena, especially because when they did the Spider-Man set a few months ago, they didn't have the rights to the art for the Spider-Man characters, right? So it was through the Omen Path, which was like the reskin for the Spider-Man cards on Magic Arena, and I did have fun with it. Um, but it was weird, like not having your Spider-Man cards in Arena, like having 2 different cards. So they've since fixed that. They have since updated all the art, and now you can choose between the Spider-Man skin on the card or the through the Omen Path if you prefer that. And they've added all the Marvel stuff into there. So I'm looking forward to do more of a deep dive, and play more Arena, so to speak, because I haven't really done that in a while, and I want to upload it because I feel like maybe there's somebody out there who is just getting their feet wet with Magic the Gathering. I think Magic Arena is a really good source to just kind of learn the game without too much of an overhead. I really do think digital clients in regard to paper card games is like a good companion to the game itself. Like I think ultimately you want to get to the point where you're playing in person and you're playing with cardboard and you're playing with actual cards and having physical human interaction. Like I definitely still prefer that. But I think Magic Arena sits in a very nice little niche area, that gives the opportunity for people to learn the game, follow the tutorials in a digital platform. It might be a lot easier with an automated system, and just kind of learn the game that way. But I definitely think that Magic the Gathering Arena is a good tool to help you get into the game on paper. So Monday Night Brawl is basically just going to be an episode a week of just me playing whatever deck it is that I brewed up that week and just going through the ladder and seeing how it competes or whatnot. It's not going to be super in-depth. It's not going to be super hands-on. Like there are a couple of videos already on the channel posted in regard to that. We're just kind of not rebranding it, but just applying it a little differently. And of course, if you want to engage in the comments and ask about the decks or whatnot, I am going to try and start with decks that I'm familiar with. Like I think my first plan for Marvel is going to just be to like update the Scarlet Spider deck that I built a while back, when it was the Through the Omen Path, and just kind of update it and get the Scarlet Spider skin on there and all that stuff and just kind of see how we do. So that's going to be my plan for the foreseeable future in regard to a Monday upload. It's going to be a weekly Monday upload, on Magic Arena, mostly playing Brawl, which is the one-on-one like Commander format. So we're just going to be cute and call it Monday Night Brawl. And then on the opposite side of that, I do play Paper Magic with my friends online, using Convoke. Like I said, it's a webcam service, and that's going to be Friday Night Magic. Everybody who plays Magic knows that term, FNM, Friday Night Magic. I feel like it's a good opportunity, at the end of the week, just kind of come home and relax and unwind and, shoot the shit with the boys or whatnot and just play some card games. And, sometimes we do have really fun interactions and really, hilarious moments and conversations. And it's just a good time. Like, yes, we're all pretty competitive, deep down, but the sole purpose of us, playing together like this online is for more of a fun, enjoyable experience as opposed to like a heavy duty, like sweaty competition. So I think I'm gonna, edit those down and post them just because I think they're a good time, and I know we've had some interesting, conversations and interactions with each other, and it's just nice. Like I said, most of my friends, if not all of them, live in New Jersey, except for the Batman Drew. Shout out to him; he lives in Oklahoma, but we connect a lot online, and he plays in our group as well. So it's nice to see, different sides of the same coin, so to speak. Like, obviously, if you consume our content or his content and you're into the Materia Junction podcast, you know that we're very big Final Fantasy fans, but he's also gotten into Magic the Gathering because of Final Fantasy. That's how originally we met. Like, as big of Final Fantasy fans as we are, the first time I met the Batman Drew was when he was looking for people to partake in his documentary series about Magic the Gathering. And of course, Final Fantasy was the caveat or the catalyst that led him to the game. But it's nice to have, similarities and like the same things from different aspects, right? So that's what I'm aiming for right now in the short term: a Monday Night Brawl and a Friday Night Magic. The thing that I'm really excited to share with you guys today is something that I've been working on for months. I've literally been working on it for months, and I have to find a better way of doing it because it's such a time-consuming process. But I'm gonna make an actual video, just kind of detailing my journey, because I think it's better visually. But just to give you a heads up, last year, I ended up almost completely quitting playing video games. And I started playing video games when I was very young. My first ever game console was the Sega Genesis. I'll never forget getting it for my kindergarten graduation present. And the two games that really stick out to me the most are Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Vector Man. And I know those are like deep cuts, but I vividly remember playing those games. And, that was the start, and the rest is history. I've had Sega Genesis, I've had Nintendo 64, pretty much all of the PlayStation consoles, all of the Xbox consoles, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Wii. So I've been gaming for a very long time. And last year in 2025, I guess hit like a bump in the road. I was questioning whether or not it was beneficial for me to continue gaming and continue to sink time into the hobby. It wasn't really so much of a financial thing. It was just more of a existential question, being an adult, being a husband, being a father. Is this something that I want to continue doing? Am I setting the right example for my kids? Is it really a childish hobby? And is this something that I want to continue? And I did go down that path. I mean, I had a PS5, I had the PlayStation Portal, and I ended up just kind of falling out of love with gaming for a little bit. So I ended up selling all that stuff. And I remember one day just browsing on YouTube, watching some videos, and I came across a video that was a showcase of a Pokemon ROM hack. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what a ROM hack is, it's basically an interpretation of an existing Pokemon game. So there's talented individuals out there who take the actual ROM or read-only memory of a Pokemon game. Most of the time it's Fire Red. They take Fire Red and they completely just give it an overhaul. They add, tons and tons of Pokemon. They add mechanics. They add moves, abilities. They increase the difficulty on some of these ROM hacks. They make their own individual stories. So I went down the rabbit hole of Pokemon ROM hacks, and the first thing that I did was I had a small mini PC that a friend of mine gave me because we were doing content for the Digimon trading card game. Shout out to Varney and Mike and Dan. Those guys were great. Haven't talked to them in a while, but they definitely helped me, get more into like the PC space. So Varney ended up just giving me an old mini PC that he had as like an HP desk, those little tiny little HP PCs. And I just kind of tinkered and figured out how to emulate. And there's that's a big word, right? Emulation. I figured out how to emulate this Pokemon ROM hack. So I was just playing on my computer, and it was fun. It was Radical Red. That was the Pokemon ROM hack that I started. It was very difficult, but it was a nice departure from the simple rinse and repeat um, formula that Game Freak has continued for so many years and so many generations with Pokemon. It was a nice challenge. It was a more adult like Pokemon experience, and I really enjoyed it. Like especially because the Pokemon options were like unlimited, and you kind of just really get down to the min maxing of what an RPG really is as far as abilities and attacks, and it's a huge puzzle just trying to solve how to complete the battle without essentially losing your team or losing the fight. And I had a lot of fun. I finally beat it, and I wanted to see what was next. So after Radical Red, I dove into the fan game aspects of ROM hacks, and I came across Pokemon Unbound. And Pokemon Unbound is definitely a game, if you're a Pokemon fan, that you should definitely play. It's an original story, new region, but it's so good. It's probably the holy grail in regard to Pokemon fan ROM hack like fan games, like fan made games. Um, it's so good, and it just shows how many people out there enjoy the franchise, are talented, are passionate about it, and are what's the word I'm looking for? Are craving that type of experience because they feel like they're not getting it from the main company. So I started playing Pokemon Unbound, and then I accidentally came across a video um, that I get like it's still astonishing to me like how these things work. But I came across a video from a well-known content creator in the emulation space, TechDweeb. TechDweeb is one of my favorite retro emulation content creators. Him and Retro Game Core are just, I think they're just phenomenal. TechDweeb is definitely more of like the lighter side to it. Very brief explanation, but he does know what he's talking about. Retro Game Core does really go into full analysis on how to like use these devices. So I went down that rabbit hole, and I went down the emulation rabbit hole, and I went down the rabbit hole of retro emulation handhelds, and I became obsessed because some of these things, and like I said, I'm gonna make a video just to give you guys a better visual representation. But some of these devices just scream nostalgia in an age where I missed out on some of these things. Like, yeah, I had a Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Color. I remember I had a lime green Game Boy Color to play Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Yellow and Silver and Gold and all that. And then the next generation of handheld console was the Game Boy Advance, which I didn't have for a very long time. Like I did have a Game Boy Advance, but I didn't have the SP. And then of course after that was the DS and all that other stuff. So my my retro emulation handheld journey started with just a very bare bones like I want to get one of these emulators just so I can play Pokemon ROM hacks because I was playing them on my computer at the time, and I wanted to be able to play on the go. And um, I remember a couple years ago getting a retro emulation handheld. It was the Ambernick 35XXSP, which is a mouthful, but it's basically like a 3.5-inch screen size Game Boy Advance SP. And it was gorgeous because the SP was one of the handhelds I didn't have, and I still have it. It doesn't work anymore. I did damage the charging port, but I'm gonna attempt a shell swap to see if I can fix it and get the innards working again because I still have it, and something I'll never get rid of. It's one of my most cherished possessions. My wife actually bought it for me for my birthday, and I still have it. Like, even though it hasn't powered on in months, like I still have it. It's on my desk. I love it. It's silver, just like the old SP model. It's just something that I'll never get rid of. But that was the gateway, and that led me to discovering a whole bunch of other ones. So the 35XX was the one I started with. I do have another Ambernick handheld that's like it looks like an old school Game Boy DMG, but it's the same chipset and it runs the same games and stuff like that. And then I started looking at other ones, and it just becomes an obsession because these devices are so beautiful and they just ooze with nostalgia, and nostalgia is such a very powerful drug. Long story short, where I'm at right now in my emulation journey, I'm on like end game level stuff with Android handhelds, and I have an Ein Thor, which is basically like a 3DS on crack. It is such a game changer. But the reason I'm explaining this to you guys is because getting into Pokemon ROM hacks and discovering the world of retro emulation really invigorated my love for gaming again. But the problem was I didn't have a gaming console, right? I didn't have a PS5 anymore. So I decided to do some research and really think about what my next move was going to be. My retro emulation handheld was holding it down because I could play a wide variety of games, ranging from the Nintendo Entertainment System all the way to PlayStation 1. So I had a bunch of games I could play, a lot of Pokemon games. I played Chrono Trigger for the first time on my retro emulator, which Chrono Trigger, we'll get to Chrono Trigger, but I experienced a lot of things, but I wanted to kind of get back to the reason I fell in love with gaming, and that was RPGs. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, but I also have always been curious about experiencing the other RPGs in the genre. Chrono Trigger, obviously, being one, and some other titles that, kind of laid the foundation for Square Enix and where we are today with RPGs. Now, primarily, this is a gaming channel, even though most of the content on my page is Magic the Gathering. It's still a form of gaming. It's all encompassing with the hobbies and stuff like that. But those are my two things that I do. I play video games and I play Magic the Gathering. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, I'm no longer in tip-top athletic shape where I can just play sports anymore unless it's with my kids. So that's a hobby that I still enjoy, like every once in a while, like being active and playing sports with the kids and watching baseball. I'm obsessed with baseball. But an actual hobby that I partake in, I'm not really playing baseball in like a league or anything like that. So Magic the Gathering and video games are my two big things. So this retro emulation journey started with just bare bones, tinkering and becoming obsessed with the idea of trying to put the perfect combination together to make a game that's 30 years old look like it could be played today. And now where I'm at is I don't consider myself an expert like Tech Dweeb or Retro Game Core in the slightest, but I have experience with a lot of devices, with a lot of different front ends, whether it's Android or Linux. I've become quite knowledgeable and understand the jargon and the vocabulary when these guys are speaking, so I'm not lost. But that's just my type of personality, right? Like when I really enjoy something or when I really find something newly passionate for me, I really kind of dive in. So this retro emulation scene led me to looking more into the PC side of gaming. I wanted to buy a PC. I wanted to finally make that jump from console gaming to PC gaming. And I almost pulled the trigger on building a PC, but it was like right before the RAM apocalypse or Ramageddon happened, right? Like everything is so expensive. And obviously you want to build a PC that's going to be able to handle the games that you want to play. So I wasn't looking at like low tier stuff, but I wasn't really looking at high tier stuff either. I was kind of like middle of the pack. But for me, it was very difficult to justify like a $1,200 purchase on just a computer. So I did some digging and I came across mini PCs, and that's what I ended up doing. I ended up buying a mini PC for like $450 understanding the hardware, understanding the limitations, understanding, to temper my expectations. I'm not going to be running games at 4K 120 FPS, but I was able to play AAA titles on my mini PC with an integrated graphics card, 1080p medium settings, getting 40 to 50 frames. And for me, that's fine. Like, I'm not a competitive gamer anymore. Like, I don't play online shooters or anything like that, so I don't really require the fastest reactions to what I'm playing. I'm playing games for the narrative, for the story, and I'm playing games for the experience that I'm getting from start to finish as I consume it as an individual. And the whole reason I started making content again and I fell in love with gaming again, not only was the retro side of it, just igniting that passion again, but, and I've done a review of this game on my channel before, experiencing Clair Obscur Expedition 33 really helped me to arise from the ashes, so to speak, when it comes to gaming. Just seeing that story unfold and seeing the passion that developmental team had to put that project together and unleash it out into the world, it made me realize why we gamers love gaming, and it made me realize that it was definitely something that I didn't want to give up on. Now, with that being said, I didn't dive in and just completely ignore my responsibilities as a father, a provider, a husband. I still have my job, I still have my kids. Like, that comes before anything. My wife, my kids, my job, my family, that all stuff, priorities come before video games. But I did become much more intentional with making time or separating space for me to have the ability to enjoy the things that I enjoy. Now, handheld gaming and having a gaming handheld definitely makes it a lot easier because I could game on the go and I could still scratch that itch, which is awesome. But when I'm home sitting at my desk and, launching Steam and playing a game on the computer, I give myself an allotted period of time. Shout out to my wife. She's awesome. She's a hardworking nurse. And honestly, I do have a lot of free time when she's not here, so I take advantage of that. Not in a bad way, of course. I'm still, dad. I'm still, cooking and cleaning and making sure my kids are okay. But at a certain point, the kids go to bed, right? So when my wife is at work Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, the kids are in bed. Like right now, I'm recording this episode at 11 o'clock at night. My kids are asleep. They have been for the past couple of hours. I take some time for myself to partake in the things that I enjoy. And, you know, I, I enjoy talking about more heavy-handed topics with people because I feel like there's a way of resolving a lot of issues through conversation, especially with people who are like-minded and have same interests. And I think, especially talking with the Batman Drew about it on our first episode of this podcast that we ever did, or second, I guess, technically, um, mental health struggles in this country for men is one of the things that I definitely pay attention to. And me, I'm not a perfect individual, but um, I have struggled with certain things and insecurities and questions, and it might sound a little cheesy or it might sound a little childish, but gaming has definitely helped to understand my emotions better as a human being and understand that it doesn't define you. A bad day doesn't make you. It can try to break you, but it's how you respond in times of adversity and persevere that really defines who you are and who your character. So, long story short, I know I just kind of went on a tangent there, but long story short, I have reignited my passion for gaming. I've fallen in love with it again, and I have become obsessed with the idea of enjoying gaming in a different way. And basically, what makes me really enjoy it and not get too bogged down or make it feel stale is I approach it from a standpoint of an individual or a team has created an art form and they are willing to share it with the world. And every game that I've played since Clair Obscure Expedition 33 has been amazing. So since beating E33, completed I completed that. And then I started going back and playing some of the older titles. And one of the main projects, this is the whole point of this conversation, one of the main things I've been working on is a series called Retro Rewind. Basically, reviewing games that are retro, 20, 25 years old, that I've never played before. So it's my first experience playing the game and just kind of doing a review and getting my thoughts on paper, because I'm a very analytical person and I feel like sometimes my opinions are good about things, or so I've been told. So I feel like maybe everybody has a different experience. I'd like to play a game, play it through, and then share what I've got from that experience with you guys. So the first retro rewind episode that we're gonna do is, of course, Chrono Trigger. I've played the game 4 times now, and every time I play it, it's just like, wow, this game is incredible. It's amazing. The art style is gorgeous. The soundtrack, the gameplay, the pacing. I can gush and go on and on and on for days about this game, but we're going to leave that for the actual retro rewind. And I didn't realize this in the beginning, but the most difficult part about how I'm handling the retro rewind series is I am taking actual gameplay footage of me playing. So I'm not looking for stock footage online and just like downloading it and speaking over a pre-recorded track. I'm actually playing the game myself and recording moments that I think are, important in the story, and recording moments that help to define what the game is trying to portray visually. So it actually takes a lot longer than I thought. Like, just having clips and clips and clips and clips recorded of battle footage, and walking through the world map and looking through dungeons and stuff like that. So I'm trying to make it as authentic as I possibly can, so it could be a genuine experience for myself to you as I kind of go into a deep dive analytically about the game that I experienced. But it's taking a lot longer than I wanted it to. So I'm gonna have to find a way to streamline everything. But I'm very excited to kind of put this series out, because it's something that I've always wanted to do. I was just very nervous about doing it because I didn't know if, I guess I didn't know if I was truly worthy enough to do something like this. So that's basically what these episodes are going to be in the Dad Cave. We're just going to have a little brief conversation about what we're planning on doing. I'm not exactly sure as to when the first episode of the Retro Rewind is going to debut. I really, really want to try and have it done before the end of the summer. As far as all the footage is concerned, I pretty much have all the footage already. I just have to go through and piece everything together and clip it up. And then, of course, write a review and get that out there for you. But as far as the direction of the channel, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing our Monday Night Brawl, our Friday Night Magic. We're going to be doing our monthly Wednesday episodes of the Dad Cave. And then, of course, the Retro Rewind episodes will also air on a Wednesday that the Dad Cave is not airing. So I'm trying to balance everything out. I'm trying to make sure that I have good ideas and good approaches to content creation moving forward without overwhelming myself, because then I know it's just going to completely turn it off. But that's what we're planning on doing. So, and of course, if the situation arises where it's appropriate or it's meaningful to get a guest on to have a conversation with them, it's definitely something that I would obviously be open to. So if you're listening to this and you just want to have a conversation about gaming or about some hobbies that we might have similar interests in, let me know in the comments below. Like, I am not opposed to meeting new people, and I'm not opposed to sharing this space with anybody who just is looking for an outlet to communicate something with a person that's of like-mindedness, because I know sometimes it could be a little difficult to find that sense of community out there in this digital age that we live in. But with that being said, we're going to get on out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in to season 2, episode 1 of the Dad Cave. I really do appreciate the ongoing support. Don't forget to check out the Materia Junction podcast that we do with the Batman Drew. You can find us on TikTok or YouTube as well. And without further ado, we're going to let you get back to it. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.